Hey there, and welcome back to The Disconnected. I'm here with Jim O'Hare, you might know from Parks and Rec, or the last season of Friends, or the last season of Better Call Saul, just riding the coattails.
Last season of Criminal Minds, which I forgot I was in.
Riding the coattails of already successful shows.
Yes, some fan came up to me and said, "Oh, I loved you in Criminal Minds." I said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't do that." She goes, "You did." I go, No, I didn't do that." She pulls out her phone, IMDb. There it is. And then it all hit me. It was the penultimate episode of Criminal Minds. And I forgot that I had done it.
That's a way to come in and take credit for that.
No, well, it's called sad. It's called getting old and very sad. No, but I will say, I'm very, very blessed. So I've done a bunch of different things. Yeah. And, it's like even with Parks, when people say, "Remember that one episode?" Oh, God, don't go down that road.
Right.
There's a chance I won't remember it. We did 126 of them. So I don't remember, and the diehard fans who are amazing, they know everything.
Per season.
They know
exact episode.
Yeah, makes me embarrassed. Because I should know more than I do. But I'm just all good looks.
To be fair, they probably watched them a lot more than you.
I bet they did. I guarantee. Though I'm doing a rewatch podcast for Parks and Recollection, we call it. And I have to say, and this, obviously I'm biased, it is fun to revisit these episodes. It was, it was a great show. I take no responsibility for why it was a great show. But it was a great show. And it's still in the zeitgeist. People still obsess over it.
Absolutely.
Which is good for the actors in it because we still get money. Yay! That's a gift.
I mean, podcast is actually one of the things I want to talk about. So let's go on that first. I mean, it's a fully different medium for you.
Fully different.
How's it been? You enjoying it?
I'm totally enjoying it. We work for Team Coco, Conan's group, and he bought this building in Larchmont in LA, and they've set it up. The space is gorgeous. The kitchen, there's and it's just every day just podcasts being pumped through there. So I like it. When they first called and asked me to do it, it was already in production with Rob Lowe and Alan Yang. So it was actor-writer, which is a good combo because the actor can give what's going on set, the writer can say what was happening, behind the scenes. And then they called me and asked if I would like to take it over. And I said, I don't know. I hadn't thought about doing a podcast. It wasn't the front. Nothing against them. I've been on 100 of them. I just never thought I'd be hosting one. And so anyway, and I said, I don't know if I have enough knowledge or anyway. And I said, what would you expect of me? And he said, when you guested with Rob and Alan, because I was shooting at actually Better Call Saul. I was in New Mexico. And from the hotel room, I did one of the episodes, I zoomed into one of the episodes. And they said, if you just bring what you brought that day, you will be perfect for this. And that's kind of what I do. Because I do love the show. I love those damn people. We still have a text chain, a Parks family text chain, we call it. And so it's just fun, and it's so well produced. The producers, my goodness, they go through every little thing, and there's so many notes. So they prep us really well. I watch the episode, I take my own notes, and then Greg Levine is he's one of the writers, so now I'm the actor guy, he's the writer guy, and people seem to be liking it. And we're very, casual. There's no pretense, it's just, we dick around, it's fun. And the audience so far, thankfully, seem to be enjoying it.
Those recollection shows have gotten super popular.
Super popular. Because, I think one of the big ones that started was the Office ladies, and they did theirs, and it just took off. And I had even had right before COVID, Retta and I, who played Donna on Parks, we had an almost deal to do a podcast together also. But then COVID happened, and she had hit the fan. Can I swear in?
Of course, as much as you want.
Okay, she had hit the fan, and it just never happened. So. And Retta and I would have had a blast because Retta and I are buddies, and it would have been terrible. She wrote a book. Just to give an example how stupid we are. She wrote a book, and she asked me if I would do the Q&A at, I think, Barnes & Noble. You know how the bookstores have the author come in? Well, we both sat up there. It was like we were back in our trailers. It was like we forgot the audience was out there, and we were laughing and busting balls and just... Red and I would have had a good time. But Greg and I kind of do that now, too. And Greg Levine has a brain. He remembers everything that... I won't remember you the minute this is over. Right, Bob?
So fortunate.
Yeah, right, Bob? No, I have a terrible, terrible memory. And, which... you know, some people now when they get older, like, oh, I'm getting worried about. I go, no, mine's always been shitty. So no, I don't think it's Alzheimer's. I'm just bad memory. But Greg can pull out facts and memories of how a character was developed or why
a good writer.
This person was a guest star and who was it between. Like, he knows all of it. So he's awesome. Me, I just chat about the show, what was happening during the filming of it,
right.
And, you know, anyway, it's fun.
I love that you brought up the Q&A. One of my most memorable things about coming to Kansas City, Nick Offerman from the show did his paddle at the
one-man show.
Yeah. He did. Well, it was for the book that came out. He did a Q&A.
Oh, he's got he has 2 books.
I think it was the first one maybe.
Yeah.
But it was a Q&A in a church in downtown Kansas City. It was such an interesting environment to hear him come in and give his talk.
Because he could be a little irreverent.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, one time I did I'm going to say it was, I think, Northwest University in Boston. I could be naming Northwestern in Boston. I could be saying the college wrong. But anyway, they brought me in to do like a Q&A with the students because the young folks are all about parks. And I did. And I'd say maybe it lasted an hour and a half. And then they announced, well, Jim's going to be taking pictures if you want a picture. So they're all lining up, which is lovely. And this girl, she comes up, and normally when people come up, they're excited, and they're like, oh my God, you know, I love this, or I love that, or my favorite episode, all very sweet things. But she was being, I guess, aloof. I don't know this woman, so I didn't know how she would normally act, but she was much different than everyone else. And I said, is everything okay? Did you have fun? She goes, I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know. She goes, well, I'll tell you, you were much dirtier than I anticipated. Bitch, I'm not Jerry Gergich.
Not
Jim O'Hare.
NBC at the time.
Right. Like, what? I think she thought I was Jim O'Hare. And that I was Jerry Gergich. I thought, see, I can't remember my name even. You know, I think she expected to see Jerry Gergich.
Yeah.
And I was telling Aziz that story later, and he's like, and then he said, here's what you should have said. And it was, of course, filthy. And he's right. It should have been like,
lower that expectations.
Yeah. Especially because, and that was the time I signed someone's boob, and she said that she's going to get it tattooed. And I said, if you care anything about me or the show, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I was waiting for, if you care about us, send the picture for.
Well, that's a given. Yeah. Well, I actually got to pick the spot, so I had to go, you know, because I've played doctors on television, so I can handle anything. Yeah. How sad. But no, I love doing the podcast. And we knock out about 4 a month, which gives us, so now we just started season 5.
Jeez.
Our latest guest was Adam Scott, and then John Glazer was on. We did last week with John. Aubrey's coming out. Anyway, it's great. It's been great. Yeah.
Sounds really fun. Yeah. Especially just, I mean, that was a lot of your life. And
7 years. And in this business, that's beyond a gift.
Right.
Especially nowadays. No one's doing 22 episodes. We did 24 some seasons, 22 others. You get 10 or 8. I just finished the Kaminsky Method. They did 8. And that's just how it is. So to have been on a run where we did 126, I am grateful every day.
It's perfect timing.
Also, a great experience. I mean, it's one thing to do it and you get through it. I didn't just get through it. I loved every minute. I always tell the story. We get what's called Day of Days the week before the following week, so we could see what days we're working. You know, because there's so much scheduling. And the thing about parks is because we shot mockumentary like The Office, a lot of times you had to be there even if you had no lines because that camera could turn and whatever. And so, like, say, for example, I'd look and I'd go, oh, I'm off on Thursday. I didn't want to be off. I loved that set. I love those people. I love that crew. I'm here doing a show in Kansas City. One of the camera guys was at the show last week. I mean, it was just a special place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a special place.
You're here doing theater.
I am.
Came about after the strike stuff, and
well, I have been here twice before.
Yeah.
It's a theater called the New Theater Restaurant in Overland Park, and when they first made me the offer in 2015, I believe it was, I said to my agent, dinner theater. I'm not 100 yet. I in my mind, that's what you did.
Right.
When you're an older actor, no one's going to hire you anymore. You do dinner theater. He said, "Oh no, not the case." And then he gave me some people to call. It is this high-tech theater, almost 650 seats. And yes, there is food involved before a show ever happens. There's nobody, no picking their mouth while we're on stage doing the show. And they do Broadway quality shows. And so the first show I did was You Can't Take It With You. Then I did a show called Funny Money, and now I'm doing Catch Me If You Can, which is not based on the movie or the big Broadway musical. This is a straight play, a whodunit. Who's good, who's bad, and what I love about it, there's some great reveal moments during the play, and the audience literally gasps.
Nice.
I love that. It means we got them, you know. And there are twists and turns up until literally the last line. People go, oh, and I love that.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's been great. The people there are amazing. It's a 3-month commitment, as I was telling you earlier. I am now ready to get home. I love Kansas City. I truly love it. The people and the food. It's all great. But 3 months away from home, that's a long time.
You've come back, obviously. It's got to be fairly decent. What's some of the best things about Kansas City?
Oh, my God. First of all, and I don't know these. I don't know who owns it. The Jack Stack, burnt ends all day long.
Yep.
Okay, all day. So I love the food. The people are just very nice. They're just super sweet. The people at the theater, they get really amazing talent. And the show we're doing now, there's only 5 of us. It's a small little cast.
Wow.
And we are tight. We were all out last night at a theater thing, because a lot of local theaters will do a Monday night show for actors because we do shows Tuesday through Sunday.
Right.
That's it. I mean, there's no break. So we all went together last night. Yeah. So yeah, it's the people and the food, and it ain't a bad paycheck. And and they set me up with a home and a car, and they just take good care of me. Yeah, it's a good place. It's a really good place.
Well, you're Midwestern at heart.
Midwestern. I'm from Chicago, baby. This is my turf. Yeah. And people are going to hate to hear this who are local. I love that snowstorm we had a couple weeks ago because I don't get it, and I was raised with that. Snowstorm was my thing.
Yeah.
And I live in L.A. We don't get them. And it was so great. I had to be up early the next morning to do an interview for something, whatever it was. But I was sitting in the living room just watching the snow come down. I loved it. But now, when it got to 10 below...
It was awful.
Not such a fan, because people wait for me after the show at the stage door. And it's all very sweet. I have come to Kansas City with a winter jacket. That's it. I don't have gloves. I don't have a scarf. I don't have a hat, which I could have gone and got, but I'm a lazy bastard. That ain't going to happen. So I'm standing outside. Ththese people must have seen my hand.
Yeah.
My ears were like stinging where I felt like I could pinch them off because they're all bundled up and they're really chatting about this. And I'm thinking, you have to leave. You have to leave because I'm going to die out here at the stage door. But again, the people are always so sweet. It's lovely. Yeah, I love Kansas City.
We're from the desert, like I said, so the snow was nice, but man, the negative 38 after windshield, that was hell.
And then the people, there was a Chiefs game during that. God bless them. But I had heard some of the tickets were going for as low as $30.
Yep.
Because who the hell? But then if you saw the bills, those people were trudging through, 6 feet of snow trying to get to their seats. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a weird time for sports.
Yes. Wow. God bless.
Chicago, that's where you got your starts.
Yeah.
How'd you get started?
I'm that idiot who went to college not knowing what I wanted to do. And by that, I don't truly mean an idiot. I don't know how anyone knows at 18
at that age,
what the hell their plan is, but yet we're kind of forced into that. So I went to Loyola University for accounting. Now, why accounting, Jim? You were never good with numbers. Well, I had buddies who were doing that, and
may as well spend time.
I might as well do that.
Right.
But the good part was they had a radio station at the thing, and I got involved. WLUW, Loyola's radio station, and it was you could only hear it from like within a 6 block radius. It was, But anyway, I really enjoyed it.
There's that podcast link too.
There's technically, yeah. So I wasn't loving school, and I was talking to my parents about it. And my mom called me one day, and she goes, "Jimmy, I heard of this school for broadcasters. It was called the Midwestern Broadcast Academy or Midwest Broadcast. I forget. They're no longer in business. But after my failures, they're like, no, shut it down, shut it down. O'Hare's connected to this. Shut it down. No. So I started going there. And I ended up with a demo reel for a radio. And in those days, it was a physical reel.
Of course.
You get stacks and stacks of them, and then you mail them to all over the country because you never know where you're going to end up.
Yep.
And I got a call from a place in Rensselaer, Indiana, which was only about an hour 15 from where I was raised in Lansing, Illinois. And so I took the job, and it was lunacy. The owners were crazy. It was all crazy. I made $120 a week take home. My rent was almost $500. So do the math on that. That doesn't math.
No.
And I know I'm not good with math, but that doesn't math. So anyway, but it was the old expression, paid your dues, and I did. And they would have snowstorms, but you had to go to work, so they'd have someone pick you up on a snowmobile. Like, it was wild.
Jeez.
Yeah, but we had these, people could, contests, and the prizes would be a 6-pack of Pepsi. And Ryan, these people would drive through 10 feet of snow to come in for the 6-pack of Pepsi. That half the time we didn't have there.
Oh,
so
yes.
then the poor secretary would have to tell them, I'm sorry, we don't have it. A 6-pack of Pepsi.
Right.
And it was crazy. But I got this weird call one day. The secretary said, Jim, there's someone who wants to talk to you off air. So I did. I don't know what the hell it was. And it was a guy, St. Joe's College used to be there in Rensselaer. And his daughter went there, and he would drive through a lot. And he said, I just want to let you know I love your show. And if you ever, he goes, I think you have the sensibility of someone from Second City. And I said, oh, that's lovely to hear, just from whatever chatter I'd been doing on the radio. And that kind of stuck with me. And then when I realized it was time to leave there, I think I was there probably a year and a half, maybe. And I was like, it's time. This is, mostly because checks were bouncing. It was a mess. The owner was doing trades for services. So he'd get an advertiser, but they wouldn't pay, but they'd give him a car to drive around.
Yikes.
Well, that ain't going to pay my salary that he's driving around in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
So it just got to the point where it was like, no, I got to get out. And that Second City thing stuck with me. So I started taking classes at Second City, and that's when it all changed. Because I realized after I got that first laugh, I was on stage where Belushi had been, and, Aykroyd and Bill Murray and everybody. And I was like, damn, I like this. And that was kind of the aha moment that people talk about.
Right.
And I never thinking it would pay my bills in a million years, but I thought I need to do this, probably as a side fun thing to do. But then as time went on, so I did all the Second City training, and then I got in with a comedy group, and we started doing sketches, and then we put together full-blown theater pieces. One was a musical, and I was in. So I was working all day downtown. What the hell did at the time the term was word processing, because for whatever reason I type very fast, like 112 words a minute. I was no reason why. Actually, when I had a typing class in high school, because you used to have to take that kind of stuff, the teacher said, "Do you play piano?" No, because I really, for whatever reason, I type fast. So anyway, I would do that during the day and then do theater at night. And then the opportunity came. We did a show called Stumpy's Gang. And it had blood and puppets and vaginas, and it was vaginas killed everybody. You know how life is.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was crazy, and it became a cult show in Chicago. I was at one point doing 3 shows, 3 different theaters. It was crazy, and I'd pull up to do the midnight show of Stumpy's Gang, and people would be in line wearing the costume that I wear because it got crazy. And so Pat Cannon, who wrote it and created it, said, we should, we'd always been talking, we got to try LA, pilot season, all the stuff you heard about. And we're like, this is crazy enough. What if we try this show in LA?
Yeah.
We do it there, and then he's a writer, he's not an actor, but, and then we can test the waters after the shows, hang a few months, pilot season, see what happens. So that's what we did. We took the show to Los Angeles, and it became a little cult thing there. When I first moved to LA, and again, this is 30 years ago, so it's all different. You'd get a stack of your headshots.
Yeah.
You'd staple the resume to the back, and then you would mail out to 100 different agencies. Nobody would contact you. You heard from nobody. Well, then the show opens, and the word of mouth starts taking over, and then they're calling me. And boy, was that nice. Hey, we'd like to set up a meet and greet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, lovely. And so from that, because of that show, I got agents. Because of that show, those agents in my next pilot season, I got a pilot and a film within 48 hours. Wow. So it was just one of those meant to be kind of things. And I've always said to my dear friends there, like, don't worry, because you're never going to come back. I go, I'll be back after pilot season. What are you talking about?
Right.
They knew I wouldn't. They've told me since. They go, we knew you wouldn't come back. We knew you were going to get something, and we knew you wouldn't come back. And I never did come back. Now, I go back all the time. But as far as to live, I have not lived in the Chicagoland area. I go back 3-4 times a year. Awesome. So that, I go a lot. But yeah, so they were like, we knew. We knew. So yeah, it opened up, that little play opened up a lot of doors for me. And when I was doing, I feel like it was Seth Meyers, but it could have been Kimmel. One of them pulled out a picture of me with the puppets. This play had mutant puppets in it who spewed blood and everything. And they go, what's this about? I'm like, oh my God. I think it was Meyers. But anyway, so it was, it's what got me to LA. And then once you get a taste of that's where most of the work is, it's hard to leave. Because I always say, I wish if I had had the career I have, the only thing that would have made it better is if it were in Chicago. If that's where I was able to live all these years.
Possible.
And that being said, I love LA. I'm not anti-LA. I'm a big fan of LA. But my family, my lifelong friends, snow, winter, I can tell when the year is changing because of seasons. We don't have that in LA. But overall, I'm fine. Now, I have some friends who moved to LA, and it became very trendy to hate LA.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sick of living. Well, then leave. No, don't live where you hate, you know. And not believe me, there were up years, down years, all this stuff. But I was fortunate since the day I landed in LA, August 4th, 1994.
Wow.
I have never had to do anything to pay a bill other than through acting. And believe me, there were tight times sometimes. But so I realize how fortunate I am.
That is a huge achievement.
Thrilled. I like, again, lucky. But it's also good. I'm a character type.
Yeah.
You can put me all over the place.
Anywhere, yeah.
Anywhere. And then for a while, I started going gray at 30, like early 30s. And I was I'm looking too old. Anyway, so I started dyeing my hair. Not me, you go to some place. And first of all, I think men with dyed hair, it always looks fake. Women, it looks great, but something on men, to me, it never looks right. So I wasn't loving it. And I did it for a year, and I thought, what am I doing? I don't give a shit. And I'll tell you, the grayer I got, the more work I got. Because now I'm a doctor, I am a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so many different options all of a sudden. So, yeah, and I've been blessed. I have someone just told me this. Someone at the theater, I think, said, I looked you up on IMDb. You have over 200 and something credits. I believe
probably
you.
Not even all of them.
I don't know. Probably not, because they don't have track of everything. Right. And one of those credits was 126 episodes of a TV show. So I'm very grateful that it played out, because as I say, I got nothing else. I'm a dumbass. I got nothing else. I don't know what I'd be doing.
No accounting now? Come on.
Oh, I'll do your taxes for you. Good luck. Just so you know, I won't be there when the audit happens. That's when I scoop.
That's fair.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I always say, I guess if someone said, well, what would I do? I guess it would be sales of some sort, because I am able to, I'm a chatter.
Charisma's a big deal.
You know, I can BS. So I guess I'd sell something. I don't know. But I'm just glad that didn't happen.
Well, and you're selling something every day already.
Well, yeah. And really, you sell yourself
every
single day. And that's the other thing, you know, people are like, how do you get in the business? What people have to realize is, it's, because even when parks happen, some articles come out, where did Jim O'Hare been all these years? Oh, I've been here, baby.
Everywhere.
I've been here. But because I wasn't a star in a show, but I've been working my ass off. Nick and I would say it all the time. We're journeyman actors.
Yeah.
And then we lucked out and ended up on a piece that changed everything for all of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, but what people don't get is the rejection amount in acting is crazy. If you have a thin skin, they say, technically, if you book 1 out of 10 auditions, you're doing well. That means 90% of the time, you are told, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Or nothing.
or nothing. Or nothing.
Which is almost worse.
Yes. Yeah, so it is not an easy business. It really isn't. But I say that, and believe me, I can bitch about it with the best of them. But I love it. And, you know, I will continue to do it as long as I'm healthy enough to do it. And, you know, I still have the excitement. I still love meeting celebrities. I love, like, all sorts of stuff. I just, I still get excited by it.
Who was the most excitable one on Parks and Rec for you to meet?
Oh, wow. When the show started?
Yeah.
It would have to be Amy, even though I had met Amy, figured out we had met at a Hollywood parade one time. Someone had a thing. I don't know. But I loved her on SNL.
Yeah.
Big fan. And by that point, and I also, they came in later, you know, Rob Lowe and Adam Scott came in later. I loved Party Down that Adam was on. And, of course, Rob Lowe has been on everything.
Before you came to LA?
Yes. So he's had, you know, which, by the way, let me give you this little story about these assholes in some newspaper. and of course it made it to set one day, and they did a thing. What's wrong with these pictures? And it's a picture of Rob Lowe next to me. They're mocking me because we're only a year and a half apart.
Oh, yeah.
And so I said to Rob, for the record, you're what's wrong, not me. I look like I'm supposed to look.
He's abnormal.
Just because you've signed some for sure deal with the devil, I'm being made the fool. Yeah, no. But, yeah, I would say Amy, because at the time I didn't know, and Nick and I have always said, how we never crossed paths make no sense. We both worked at all the different theaters in Chicago, but we didn't.
Similar roles, too, in sitcoms and everything?
Yes. I don't know how Nick and I never crossed paths, but we did not. So, yeah, Amy, I was most excited. And then, of course, the gift of doing a show that becomes popular, number one, and the word had gotten out that this is a show people want to guest on because it was a great set. And I've been on many shows, and they're not all great sets. They are, sometimes people aren't talking to this one who's not talking to that one. It's lunacy. And I've never understood it, because to me it's like, okay, we have a gig. Like, not just we're here. I get to be here for years and years. And so we never had that on Parks. We never had craziness. We never had whatever. So people wanted to be on the show, but then they started bringing in big names. Yeah. We had Joe Biden. We had Michelle Obama. You know, Sean Hayes was there. Paul Rudd. I mean, it just goes, it goes on and on. Patricia Clarkson. Well, I mean, Bill Murray. Like, one day I'm like, there's Bill Murray. Like, what is happening? And I still get excited by that. And I like that I still get excited. I like that I still get nervous. Every night when I do this show at the theater that I'm here to do, I get nervous before my first entrance. And I think that's healthy. I think it absolutely. It means I'm not taking it for granted. And I want to do a good job. And the nerves go away within 30 seconds on stage. Then it's like, here we go. We're in our clique. Yeah. So young people say, oh, how can I get my start? Or is it too tough to get into? And my answer is always, if it's in your gut, you got to try. You'll find a way. I can't tell you if it's going to work out or not, because I lucked out and it did work out for me. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who it didn't work out for. They went to L.A. and now they're either back in Chicago. Even here, there's people from Kansas City who had gone to L.A. It didn't play out because it's not easy. Right. It's not easy. So, yeah. I don't even know what the question was. See how I said I ramble? That's what I did. Who was exciting to meet on Parks? Oh, you said it, Amy. But you did well. Yeah. With what you just alluded to, obviously with this, for a lot of people, there's a huge amount of ego. And for somebody like you, you can feel that there's not a whole lot of ego. Oh, no, there is. I'm better than all of you. Anyway, no, please, ego. Ugh. How do you feel about that when others are around you and you can sense that? And is there ever a moment that you felt like you were starting to get that at all? I hope not. I have never felt that I've gotten that, because that would sicken me if I became that person. I have been around it. I'm not going to name names. No one from the Parks cast. But I've been around it, and it's disgusting. I went to a premiere of, the hell the movie was, I forget. And you know, those premieres are interesting because the fans are all lining up for you to walk the carpet, and you go in. And this one actor, he would know, I'm not going to say it, I thought, you're just garbage to me, because he's okay. Just one. Grow up. It's because of these people that we even have careers. Right. No, and I was always teased, even on Parks and even now with this cast that I'm doing the show with here in Kansas City, that I am overly gracious, like to extras on set, because you know, there but for the grace of God, you don't know what's going to work out for you. But I've never ever turned down a picture request, and there's been times, because my family used to think it was exciting at first. They're over it. Everyone's over it around me. And I get it, because people will come up to your table while you're eating at a restaurant and go, I hate to disturb you. Well, you don't hate it enough, because you're doing it. But I would never be ignorant. And so, yeah, it is funny, because my family used to be so excited. Oh, I think they're looking over here. Oh, how is it? And now that it's been 10 years, 15. We started 15 years of that, of me getting recognized because of Parks. They're way over it. Now it's like, oh, they're looking over here. Right. Oh, here they come. You know, and they've been, you know, I don't know. It's tough. It's like with Amy, you know, Amy is gracious to her fans, but, for example, if her kids are with her, she won't do pictures. Right. And that's smart. That's called being smart, because you don't know who's out there, and you don't know what their agenda is. Of course. Like, I've run across, like, a little nutty here and there, and you kind of get the vibe, and it's different for a guy than a girl. It just is. And so, yeah, but I have seen actors whose egos, and you know, some actors will play the game, and this is from old school, so I don't know why they still do it. They want to be the last one to set. So in other words, everyone's waiting for them,
right?
You know, and then they get to go right to work, whatever. When you're ready, go to set. Because they do this, they knock on your door. Jim, we're inviting you to set. I always joke, it shouldn't be Jim, you have a contract. We're demanding you come to set now. That's what it should be.
Right.
They're paying us all a ton of money. Get to set. We're ready to shoot now. Yeah. But some actors will do that thing. Well, they'll, oh, who's there? Oh, and the PA will say, this person. Okay, I'll be there. I'll be right there. Then they hang. And it makes me crazy. People who don't appreciate the good fortune they've had because of this business. At any one point, the statistic I heard is that only 2% of us are ever working at the same time of my union. 2%. Jeez. So to be in that 2% and not be grateful?
That is crazy to hear.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, that being said, someone like, you know, Brad Pitt or these people, who people are just gawking at them.
Right.
You know, that must get crazy and it must get old. I told the story before, but the one, the story that's always kind of blew my mind. So I was at the night before the Emmys. Katzenberg throws an evening before. It's called the Evening Before Party, and it's a combination of a charity to raise money for different charities, but it's a big event. Everybody goes, movie people, TV people. It's one of the big events.
Nice.
And so I don't know. I've been there 3 or 4 times, but one of the years I happened to be in a circle talking to Bradley Cooper, John Hamm, who had guested on Parks, so I got to know him, and I forget, it was a little circle of people. I'm always like, well, I'm in a circle with John Hamm and Bradley Cooper. This is cool. But all of a sudden, Tom Cruise comes walking in, and this is when he was with Katie Holmes. Yeah, and they come walking in, and that's when I saw what for me was the true definition of a celebrity, because even A-list celebrities were staring at him like, wow, his whole life is that.
Right. Because
these A-listers, it stopped the party. Like, oh God, Tom Cruise is here, Tom Cruise is here, Katie Holmes is here. And as it turned out, Tom's son was the DJ. And so that's why he was there. But yeah, that's a different kind of, that's a level of fame I would never ever aspire to.
It's not even A-list.
It's not. I don't know what list that is. It's a different list. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I'm very middle of the road celebrity as far as, you know, if they're younger, they're probably going to know me, but they're not. No one's crashing cars, you know, to see me and stuff like that. Yeah, but I would never be mean.
To flip the ego question on its head a little bit, other than Parks, what are you most proud of? What piece of work that you've done?
My film Middleman. I did it right after Parks, and I'm proud of it for many reasons. One, my friend Ned wrote it for me, and we started in the comedy group together that I did in Chicago, and we're all still tight. And he wrote it with me in mind. Now, the problem was when he first wrote it, it's a very, very... Have you seen it?
I have.
It's very dark. It's very dark. And when he wrote it, I was, I think, 10 years younger than when we shot it, because we couldn't get the money to finance it.
Interesting.
Well, then because of Parks, all of a sudden,
there's money.
There's people are going to come up with money.
Right.
And so, I mean, we still shot it low budget, but a budget. People came up with money and there was a budget. And we crowdfunded and we had investors. And so I'm proud of it for many reasons. One, that I got to show a different side, because the movie starts out and he's a little Jerry-ish, you know, from Parks. He's just this sweet, simple man.
Yeah.
And then things go incredibly wrong after picking up a hitchhiker. And I was allowed to do different styles. I was allowed to, and it was everything. It was, I just love, and I'm not pushing you to give me your thoughts on it, but I'm proud of it. I think it's a wonderful film. It's a low budget, so it doesn't look like a big studio film, but that's fun too. And we got to work with some amazing actors who did this film because they were getting SAG minimum because of the script, because Ned had written such an amazing script. And I had said to Ned when it was all happening, I go, but can we still not? I'm 10 years older. He goes, I can change that. He just changed it in the script. All of a sudden, I'm 10 years older. I feel like it might
work even better than what it would have 10 years prior.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, and the premise is, I'm this. I was raised with a mother who we constantly heard, comedy teams and comedy bits, and Burns and Allen, and she dies, and I'm going to give my shot in Vegas as a stand-up comic, which he has no talent for it at all.
Right.
But then as things happen, things go awry. He does start becoming funny, not for good reason, and then. Not to give it away, check out Middleman. It's out there somewhere. I don't even know where the hell it is, but it's out there.
It is out there. It's streaming. Link will be in the description.
There you go.
It was a bit of a leading question because there's something about it, and I knew that was the answer before I asked. Because
really?
You can feel it. That movie, it's incredible. As somebody that loves lower budget genre movies, as somebody that loves comedy, it is the perfect mashup.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Hearing somebody. I mean, there's so many scenes in the beginning that were like. I remember doing that as a kid, like speaking the old comedy routines with the tape, and I'm like, other people did that. That wasn't just me. Okay,
and that was a lot of memorization because I had to do it right, or it didn't work.
Beat by beat, it was
beat by beat. It had to be perfect. Yeah, and we shot in the desert. Oh Lord, it was hot. And Andrew Hawks, he played the bad guy. Well, there's a lot of craziness. A couple of bad guys.
The bad influence,
and. Him and Annie Dudek, who played the girlfriend, God bless them. Like I said, they did it for the script. But we were shooting in the desert. There were days where Andy and I were changing clothes with our car doors covering us because we were just
in the middle of nowhere.
We couldn't get trailers to where we were. It was in some godforsaken... Anyway, so it was not an easy shoot at all. That being said, I am very proud of it. Poor Annie Dudek, she had to lay underneath me for a couple hours one night. Because we were doing a love scene. Jim O'Heir doesn't get love scenes generally. Right. And it was weird and like, okay, here we go. And we did that poor girl. Yeah, God bless her.
Had to be a sweaty scene too.
Oh, God. But you know what? As people saying it is so true. There's nothing sexy about it when you're doing it. Because, so I'm on top of her in this back seat. We're about to do it. He's certainly a virgin. And so God knows what's going on. But he's kiss, kiss, kiss. I'm here. They've taken out the front seat of the car. Now the director is here. The camera guy is here. The sound guy is hanging, trying to boom from outside, as well as we have our lavs. There's nothing sexy about it. Absolutely nothing. Because people say, I couldn't do that. I'd get a boner. Well, no, you wouldn't. You would not. There's just nothing about it that is sexy. It just isn't.
And for that scene, it didn't really need to be sexy.
It didn't need to be. It was all fumbly. But you know what? There's a scene in there. People always bring it up to me when we're doing the now I can't think of it, when her and I are in the car and we're playing the game. What game is it? Oh damn it! Someone just brought it up to me the other day. But anyway, there are some really, really sweet scenes with him, with Lenny and Grail, the actress Annie Dudek, that really resonated with people. And then Josh McDermott is in it also from Walking Dead, and he plays an asshole.
Yep.
But things happen to him. Things happen. But anyway, check it out, Middleman.
A lot of recognizable faces in it. Yeah. Lots of people. You go, oh man, I remember him from like 9 Things. Yeah.
That's great.
Incredible movie, but obviously when there's comedy and genre involved, a lot of those beats come from the same places. Are you a fan of genre films much?
I love a dark comedy. I love a thriller. I'm not a rom-com guy. Nothing against rom-coms. Yeah. I'm not that guy. And not all. There's some I've seen. They're like, oh, that was lovely. But I won't see it again. I'm sure of that. Dark is I go dark. As I say, I go blue when I'm talking, and I go dark in my film. So I do like a dark comedy. I'd love a scary movie. Yeah. I will not go, like recently, sorry if I'm slamming at someone who was in it, but what was the movie just recently about the pool where they...
it's a haunted pool.
It's a haunted pool.
It sounds... I'm not even
right, and I saw the trailer for it, and there was a couple... Oh, that's a good moment. That's a good moment. Night Swim. No.
Something like that.
Maybe. It could be. But anyway, my point being, it was rated PG-13. I have no interest.
Right.
Because that means you aren't really going to scare me.
Right.
You're just not. Now, give me an R, and I am in that. I'm in that theater. I am paying my, what is it now, $18 for a seat, and I'm happy to do it because I love that. You know, and I have friends who, oh, why would you go see that? I go, oh, I love it. I love being scared. And it's very rare they get me literally to jump in my seat, but I love that. I really do love it.
And you brought up about the theater, kind of one of the reasons why I love horror, and that's because I'm watching a lot of these things to feel something.
Yes.
A general drama that, I mean, yeah, there might be some drama, but...
Yes, and it's fine, and I enjoy... First of all, I could go to a movie every day.
Right.
I'm that person, and because of my life, when I'm working, obviously that's what I'm doing, but when I'm not working, I have my days free. So I'm sitting in the theater by myself half the time, and I love it. I got my popcorn and my Diet Coke, and I am watching my movie. And I just love that. I know it's lazy. I should be home perhaps curing cancer or something, but let's face it, I'm not the guy who's going to do that. So I love going to the movies. Yeah. Now, do I have this kind of collection that you have? No. As a matter of fact, I have no collection. But wow.
Appreciate that.
It's amazing. I don't know if you people have seen this, but have you done like a tour where people saw everything?
It's been a couple of years since the last one.
You should update it. It's borderline. He's out of his mind. You can't hear me when I do that.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. There's dolls. There's posters. There's CDs, DVD. He's got it all. He's got it all.
I've got VHS here. There's laser discs down there.
Laser discs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
What are some of the last horrors that you went to that you really felt something that you were scared by?
Oh wow. Some people hate this. I love Saw movies. I love them.
There's a screen used Saw prop over there.
Oh, nice.
That painting up there is every frame a painting from the Saw movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I could watch those all day long. And actually, I was up for an Emmy against Tobin Bell. I won, Tobin. Anyway, no, he was awesome. But I love the Saw films. The first one, if you remember, one of the bits where, I think it might have been the first one, but they fall into a vat of hypodermic needles.
It's the second one.
Oh,
that scene gets me so bad.
And then the bloodletting with, what's her name? I did a movie with her. She started out in a movie when she was a kid. It'll hit me at some point. But anyway, and I did a movie with her. All I wanted to talk about was what was it like making Saw? Like that is, I just love that. And I would love to do a horror film. I would love to get cast in a horror film.
Saw's back. Get him.
I know. I want in. Here's the thing. Good or bad. The good is that I've made a lovely living doing it, but I'm known for comedy. In this business, you get labeled. Boom, boom, boom. And every time I do something different, it always is reacted to well, critically, whatever. But I know in the casting world, I'm still the big, funny, fat guy who will do that, you know? Because even this season, I did a Hallmark movie that aired this holiday season. And some of the reviews came out, and they were lovely. And so good to see Jim O'Heir get to do, he was angry, he was crying, blah, 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 blah. And that is lovely. And yeah, because we're actors.
Right.
And that's what I do. But a lot of times I'm not going to get the chance.
Right.
Just because they're going to see me and they're going to go, nah. And I got a job once. I did a little miniseries called Hard Knocks, I believe it was. And it was about a coach of a football team of kids. And he was just nuts. And it's super fun. But apparently the writer said to the director, what about Jim O'Heir? And his first thought was, oh no, he's too sweet from Parks and Rec. No. And then they sent him reels of something else I had done. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's our guy. But I get it.
I love that.
We get known for what we get known for.
Right.
And again, I wouldn't trade that for the world. It's paid my bills and given me a lovely existence. So it's all fine.
Well, and who knows, the tide might be changing. I mean, you've got comedians that are
doing all... Well, I mean, it's been said for years. Some of your greatest dramatic actors are comedians. Robin Williams, he did some great stuff. And there's a guy whose mind was... Wow, I can't even imagine because his brain was unlike others. So yeah, I love when I get the opportunity. I did a film we shot it in May into June in Michigan, and there's scenes where I'm sobbing. There's scenes, goes everything. It's about a preacher and his wife. And he's by the book, by the Bible. But then at first you'd almost think it was a faith-based film. But then you realize life is life. His wife is cheating on him with another pastor. He's got a gay son, a daughter who's stealing. Like, you got to play all the emotions. And I love that. I just love that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Eager to see that one. I mean, with those genre actors coming in and making, Chris Rock was the big one, came in and made a Saw film. You've got Patton Oswalt, that's been in one.
Love Patton Oswalt!
Was just in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Other than Saw, like what's the type of horror movie that you would love to be a star of?
Oh God, The Exorcist, or oh my God, even Magic. Do you remember the movie Magic with
Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins, just creepy.
I can do one better.
Oh, of course, dear. Yes, that's it. Oh, you, dear, and he knows right where it is. I'm a little scared. If this is the last time anyone hears from me, check this room. What the hell he's doing? Wow.
Did you ever love physical media? Is that ever something that you were a fan of?
What do you mean?
Like VHS or anything like that? Have you ever appreciated the tangible aspects of it? Or
I did.
Just not important?
But years ago, I used to keep all the books I read. And I realized it's just taking up a lot of space.
It's a lot of space.
As you know, it's a lot of space. and as I've gotten older, I'm very... Like, if people walk... My friend Ned, who directed Middleman and wrote it, him and his wife were visiting me in L.A., and his wife walks in, and she's like, "Oh, this is lovely, but where's all your stuff?" I go,
"Have you been robbed?"
"What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, now they have 3 kids.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's shit everywhere." I don't.
Fight that fight, too.
And I just like my tables cleaned. So anyway, I've become that person. I don't want it. I can get anything you have in here, I can probably watch somewhere, right? It's streaming somewhere?
I'd say probably less than half, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Why couldn't I get them? They're just not out there?
They're obscure, like older Italian film, stuff like that.
Oh, that kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, but I don't have it. I don't have it. I used to, like I said, keep books, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I give them all to some book fair, and I don't even, what they sold or not. Because I was realizing I don't read them again.
Right.
So what am I doing?
Right.
Like, do you revisit?
I actually kind of treat it as a library. I work on special features for discs nowadays.
Yeah.
And so if I do research, it's best to go back to some of those and find actual timestamps, take footage from it.
Makes sense.
Go to the special features and go, what inspired this movie that I can use to do in some other project.
Yeah. But you and Jeremy must have that. Did I know who Jeremy is?
Oh, yeah. We're going to make fun of him in just a minute, like crazy.
He's the worst.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The worst. But your brain is just functioning on all cylinders, remembering
Always.
Everything. Yeah, my brain barely functions on any cylinder, so I am not so great at that. And when people say, "Jim, we wanted to pick your brain," I'm like, "Oh, let it heal. Just let it heal, please. It's been picked at enough.
Right?
it needs some downtime."
You brought up Jeremy Long.
The worst
stand-up comedian in LA. He thinks he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
He's the closest thing I've had on here to a comedian before you. So now,
wow.
Now that we've had a real comedian,
wow. So Jeremy was it. Wow. Okay. Well, now that I know he was a guest, I don't want to be on your show anymore, and I would appreciate it if we would just turn this shit off because I'm out the door.
How'd you meet Jeremy?
Jeremy stalked me for a few years. He would follow. I'd know, then I had a PI come in and tell me who he was, and then he was following me. No, I met him at a.
You can keep the bit going, by the way.
No, he's terrifying. And for some reason thinks the long hair's working. It isn't, Jeremy.
I think it's just to have people remember his name.
Maybe.
That's the only way.
Maybe. But no, he came up to me. I forget why I was there, but I did a bit at, not the Comedy Store, what's the place on Melrose? The Improv. And he approached me after, and I think he had known Aziz. And so, since then, he begs me to take him to lunch every, couple of months. Yeah. And I delay it as long as I possibly can. Unfortunately, he has some pictures of me that I don't want to get out. And so I go. And would that fucker ever open a wallet? I don't think so.
Of course not.
I don't think so.
Jeremy does TV. He can do it.
Oh, he's got the money, baby. Yeah, we should all be sitting on the long money. Yeah. No, but he's fun. So we got to know each other. Technically through Aziz.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was happy to roast him. He's been a dear friend through physical media, obviously.
So a friend, really? That's a word you would use.
Well, I mean, he's now slept in this house, freeloaded for a weekend.
Boy.
That was that smell when you came in.
I had to hire someone to sit in front of my house because if he drives by, they are told to shoot, not by whites of the eyes. Just if you see any dumbass with long hair, just shoot because it's probably him. Yeah, that's really funny. No, he's a great kid. He's a great kid.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to end on a roast of Jeremy. So, Jim.
Oh, wow. That went fast.
Yeah, it's
oh
just
my
about an hour.
goodness.
Thanks for everything.
Well, my pleasure.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm super impressed by this whole room. A little scared, but impressed.
It's a lot, for sure.
It's a lot. But, I mean, if that's what you love, God bless you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Middleman. Or is there ever any chance of getting that out on physical media in any way?
I don't know, to be honest. And here's the thing. I was a producer on that film, and that's when I learned Jim O'Heir never wants to ever be a producer
Didn't
again.
like it, huh?
Well, here's the thing. If they want to use my name and say, you know, and they do that all the time, the star of a show gets producing credit. Right. That happens all the time. But I was actually a producer on it, trying to be involved. So I'm dealing with actors upset about trailers and food. I was like, never again. I want to deal with the minutia of putting a show together. It's a lot. A TV show or a film. It's a lot. There's so many moving parts, and I'm just not that guy. And plus, but people say, oh, well, it's because you were the star of it, and I was in 90%
at least, yeah.
90% of the film. So it was tough. You're doing one job, but yet then I got to memorize. I got to figure out character. I mean, because Lenny is there's a lot of craziness going on with that character. So I always say, yes, put my name on it if it'll help, but I'm not going to be in those meetings. I have no interest in being in those meetings. Jim, we're having a production meeting. Good luck. Let me know how that goes. Tell me where I got to show up.
Check out Middleman. Check out Parks and Rec if you haven't. What's the next movie? The Preacher movie?
They just visited me here recently. The director and one of the producers flew in to see the show I'm doing. And it's not really titled yet. We had a working title. I don't know if I should say this. Do you edit this at all if I dread this?
Yeah.
We shot in a lot of different churches. And because of that, they gave it a very lovely title so that it wouldn't offend any of the churches. But I have the feeling when some of the churches see this, they won't be as thrilled as what it was. So I don't know. I don't know the title. I know that it's close to being totally synced and sounded and all the stuff they do, whatever the hell goes on. So I'm anxious to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Interesting.
But I would imagine it's going to come out this year. Yeah. And then I have a show called Bosco that just went on Peacock today because I got a notice telling me that's there. What the hell else? I did something called The Fall. I think that gets released this year. I've been blessed. It's busy.
That's good.
It's been busy, yeah. Happy.
Thanks for all your time.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. And okay, now that we're off here, tell that fucker Jeremy to get off my ass. I'm so sick of that dumb asshole. Oh, God, he's the...
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.